We've all been there where we're trying to pick out an outfit for that long haul flight, maybe that long bus ride home, maybe a long ride on the train, wherever it may be, and you're trying to pick something that's comfy, something that's functional, something that's not ugly, something that's gonna work with all the stuff you need while you're traveling. Well, over the last couple of years, I've been to 20 countries, I've been to, 30, 40 different airports, and I think finally I've nailed the ultimate travel outfit for men. So in this video, we're gonna go through what I recommend to wear while you're traveling, no matter how long the trip is and no matter what your budget. So without further ado, let's get into this video. Welcome back to the Lifting Nomad. My name is Alex, and in today's video we're going to talk about the best travel outfit for men. And this could really be for any use case, whether you're going on a long haul flight overseas to Europe and you have maybe layovers, maybe you're just taking like a long train or bus ride home to see your family for the holidays. Whatever it is, the best travel outfit for men has to hit a couple of boxes and also has to make you not look like a complete idiot. Me personally, I don't think cotton track pants should ever be worn in any public situation outside of going to the gym. I think they look sloppy. I know they're comfortable, don't get me wrong. I've got a few pairs when I'm sitting at home watching a movie, they're great. But really, I just think they look sloppy. They don't really fit your body very well. Sure, they're comfortable, but really they also aren't that functional because they're a pain to get on and off if you're gonna be changing clothes, going to a warmer destination and you wanna get changed like maybe in the airport bathroom or the airplane bathroom. They also just make you look a little sloppy. So let's say you wanted to go sit in a lounge during a layover, people just kind of judge what you're wearing, right? So for me personally, I don't think they really serve a purpose and I don't ever take them traveling. With that said, I do think like cotton sweatpants and cotton pajama pants are really pretty awesome to sit at home and sit on the couch and watch a movie. But I think, really the outfit comes down to a couple of things and to think about where you're going, where you're coming from. I'm usually flying from Canada, so it's typically pretty cold, at least where I'm going to or where I'm coming from. So I do have to plan ahead for having a couple of layers. So with that said, let's kind of start with the top down. I do usually wear, if I'm gonna be bringing like a jacket or a coat, I'm pretty good at packing at this point. I like to pack a little bit lighter. I don't really like to take a checked bag. For instance, I was just in Split, Croatia for right about 5 weeks and I didn't have a checked bag. I did that all with a carry-on and a personal item. So it's really trying to match like blacks on black, so you don't have to bring too many different clothes. You can just really mix and match your outfits. So with that said, for my flight home, it was really painful. I flew from Split to Copenhagen, layover in Copenhagen, Copenhagen to Iceland, layover in Iceland, Iceland back to Toronto. So it was really on that flight, I think, I finally really just nailed down the perfect travel outfit. And it's been a long time, kind of in the making of trying different things. So I think I finally got it nailed down into a place that I'm pretty happy with. So like I said, first things first is I typically, if I'm bringing like a coat or if I'm bringing a hoodie, something that's going to be heavier, I try to wear it on my way to the airport for a couple of reasons. First of all, it's going to be typically your heaviest item of clothing. So if you're wearing a jacket or a coat, it's going to take up the most amount of space and also the most amount of weight in your bag. So you do want to keep that into consideration. If you're worried about not going over, you obviously don't want to pay the overages if you don't have to. We already pay enough in the in the taxes and the airport fees as is. I don't like to give them any more money than what I have to. So usually, for instance, I would just wear some kind of bomber jacket if I'm not going anywhere too fancy. If I'm going to a wedding or something, obviously I have to have my suit packed. But typically, for the most part, I'm usually wearing a hoodie. And the reason being, it's good to have a hooded sweater no matter where you're going. Sometimes it gets cold. I was in Buenos Aires in the middle of their summer where it gets to 40 degrees Celsius most days, and randomly one night it got down to 8 or 9 degrees Celsius. It was freezing cold, and I had one very light jacket to make it do for 2 days while it was freezing cold in the middle of summer. So I think it's worth it if you're going to be traveling somewhere to have some kind of warm article of clothing that if it does get cold, you can just throw that on. So that's typically my top layer of what I'm going to be wearing on the outside. I'll usually leave from my house with that on, and then when I get to the airport, my backpack, I have straps that I could potentially tie it to the outside if I'm going somewhere really hot. In a few weeks, I'm going to the Dominican Republic, so that's going to be very warm, and I don't think I'm going to need my hoodie and my bomber jacket combo. But for the most part, I would take it with me, and then let's say I was going somewhere hot, I would just tie it to my bag when I get maybe onto the airplane, something like that. Then the other thing to consider is, obviously the look and functionality of things. So now we've got my top layer down. I pretty much always wear black. This is a pretty common outfit. The items I'm going to show, I'm kind of mid laundry right now, so they're not actually black, but usually I would wear this sort of setup in a black on black outfit. Again, that so doesn't show if like you're sweating on the airplane or something. It's also just easier to keep clean black clothes. It goes with everything. You can do laundry pretty easily when you get to your destination. So it's just like overall a lot easier to manage with black clothes. That's why when I travel, most of my wardrobe is like black on black. So when I'm going to Buenos Aires again this winter for 3 months, I'm gonna have pretty much my entire black wardrobe. That way you can just mix and match different items. So for the shirt, I think like just generally having, this is like an oversized t-shirt, nothing too fancy, but I think it just is comfortable. First of all, it's very airy. It's not too hot, because as we know, like in my experience, I've seen everything from buses that are super, super hot. If you're doing like an overnight bus, you don't want to be sweating, all the way to like airplanes that are freezing cold and blasting the air conditioning the whole time, that it can make it a little bit difficult to rest. So usually I'll just have like an oversized t-shirt as my top, and I'll just wear that throughout. Put it on, like I'll shower in the morning, put it on in the morning, and then wherever I get to my destination, usually I'll take it off, shower, and then put on whatever clothes I'm wearing. But I think it just is easier to keep clean. It's light, it doesn't like bunch up, it's comfortable if you're trying to sleep on the bus or the train or the plane. I usually do like to sleep, so I try to keep myself as like airy and comfortable as I can. Then for the bottoms, I recommend generally like a pair of joggers that have kind of cargo pants functionality. For this video, I'm gonna be showing like Young LA, pretty much is most of the clothes that I own, but they're just like standard kind of polyester, which is like the spandex material for joggers. And this is mostly what I work out with as well if I'm wearing pants. But there's a lot of functionality with these, and I'll zoom in here. So you don't obviously have to get this brand, but I really like how they have zippers on the pockets, because if you are falling asleep, if you are laying down like on the ground in an airport, you don't want your phone, your keys, your wallet sliding out. And then you just like walk away and forget about them. So having something like that you can put your phone in, secure it, then you're not really worried about someone potentially like stealing your shit if you fall asleep, or something falling out if you're on the bus and you happen to roll over and then your keys hit the floor, they're gone. So I think also, you know, if you're in like, let's say Latin America or somewhere that's not so safe, there's a lot of robberies that go on these airports or buses even. So if you can make yourself a little bit safer, that's all the better. Second thing with the cargo pants that I think are really underrated is like an additional pocket that lets you put your passport in. So as you know, like when you're going through, let's say an airport, or even like taking a bus over the border, if you do have to clear customs, you're gonna have to show your passport. So having that somewhere that's easily accessible, particularly in airports, I'm sure we've all been there, we're behind someone who's slow as balls, they're trying to find their passport, they're opening their bags, they're like taking off their jacket, they're taking off their hoodie, they're trying to find it, then they leave it on the belt, then they walk through the machine, then they're like freaking out about where's my passport, then they walk back through, and then they don't remember to take their shoes off, and it's just like those sort of, I try to minimize how many of those cases I provide to other people and how much of an annoyance I am. So I think like having a passport pocket is super, super helpful. Now with that said, usually I do wear a crossbody bag, something like this, that I put my passport, my wallet, and my keys in, and then that way it's like strapped to my chest, so I know it's like super safe with like a zipper on top. So that's kind of like personal preference. Some people like, I think, just don't like the style of crossbody bags, or don't want to own one, or don't want to deal with an additional bag. So fair enough wherever you're traveling, but usually that's where I keep my passport and my wallet, and then what I'll do is just like keep my phone or anything else like Blistex or that kind of stuff in my pockets, and then I'll zip that up as I go. Now obviously like packing your outfit for the plane, usually if I'm going to somewhere like I said in a few weeks, I'm going to the Dominican, I'll usually have a change of clothes in my carry-on bag. That way when I'm like potentially in the airport, on the airplane, landing, and then waiting for my luggage, something like that, I can go to the bathroom, put on like more appropriate clothing. If I'm leaving Canada and I have a hoodie and a jacket on, and then I land in Dominican where it's 30 degrees Celsius, I'm gonna be sweaty as all hell trying to wear that to my resort. So I'm gonna want to have a change of clothes that is like lighter and more summery, let's say. Then the final thing that I think I would recommend is having like a really easy pair of shoes to get on and off at the airport. Again, this goes to just like the pain in the ass of dealing with security, or potentially even like taking them off. Usually, I know it's like maybe taboo, but like taking your shoes off on an airplane, if it's a long haul flight, is pretty much like in my mind mandatory. If it's over like 5 hours, I'm gonna be taking my shoes off no matter what, because if I'm gonna try and sleep, there's no way I'm gonna do that with my shoes on. So I have a pair of, I'm not sure how well this will zoom in. These are just like straight black Vessies, and the reason I really like this pair of shoes, and I'm sure there's lots that are like this, they're like a waterproof material, so they're actually like really stretchy to slip on and off. I think there's nothing more annoying than, again, being in the security line and someone ahead of you has like, I don't know, high top leather boots, and they have to unzip the whole thing, then you're waiting for them to do them back up while your bag's coming out at the other end, then security's grabbing it, then they're taking it off the belt, then you're like, all right, now I have to go get my bag, but they've taken it off the belt. So it's like, again, just trying to minimize how big of a pain in the ass I'm being to other people. So having shoes that are easily slipped on, easily slipped off. When I'm on the plane, I can, again, just slide them off really quickly, slide them back on without any issues. It just makes things a lot easier to have a pair of shoes like that. And they're also super, super comfortable. I'm sure you've all walked around enough airports or bus terminals or train stations, wherever that is. Maybe you get to your destination and you have to walk somewhere. Having comfortable shoes is super, super important. I see people in the airport sometimes with like flip-flops and socks, and I'm like, that's just not gonna be comfortable. Your knees are gonna be sore if you have to walk any sort of distance. If you have a heavy bag, it's gonna hurt even more. It's like, just wear a comfy outfit that makes you look somewhat decent, and you won't have like any eyes at you. You'll blend in. You won't be like, who is this kid sitting in the lounge? Why are you trying to get a table at this restaurant? You can't afford it, that kind of thing. Like whatever it is, just dress a little bit nicer. So I think like a pair of black joggers, a black t-shirt with like a black bomber, you're gonna be fine. These are like just slip-on black shoes. You can get any pair like that. It doesn't have to be this brand. This is the one that I like. But in general, I think that's like my ideal best travel outfit for men. Sometimes when I do have longer hair, I'll add in like maybe a toque. Canadian expression is like a beanie, or like a ball cap. Or if I'm going somewhere like really sunny, it's gonna be a long trip, I'll wear a ball cap anyways, just because if I'm sleeping on the plane, then I wake up, I'm gonna look like ass. So at least I'd rather keep myself somewhat in in decent condition. So that's gonna be the video. Hopefully it was useful. My opinion of the best travel outfit for men. If it was, feel free to leave a like or a comment in the section below. Always helps the algorithm. But as always, my name is Alex. Welcome back to Lifting Nomad. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.